Hey, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization, and today is a Sophisticated Saturday, and I'm getting started right away if you can't tell. And I am going to start by getting some labels made as well as working on my to-do list while these are getting cut. I have a couple of orders to fill from my website as well as some personal labels I'm going to make for our house. It's always a combination like that, or usually a combination like that. So I am going to get this all set up. I just have a couple more to type into the Cricut program that I use. And these are the ones for my pantry because I just have never gotten around, after I redid my pantry, to adding in a couple more labels. I've moved a few things around. I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted everything to be or what I wanted all of the bins to be. So now I know, and I am going to get these last two labels made. See, making sure it's the right color, the right size. And I think we're good to go. I have my little sophisticated dry erase board here, and I'm just gonna brain dump a quick to-do list and we will get started for the day. After I finished up my to-do list, I have my pregnancy journal that I'm trying my very best to keep up with. So I was documenting weeks 21 and weeks 22 of being pregnant, writing all my symptoms in, things that I'm thinking about, big pregnancy milestones that have happened over the past 2 weeks. I did the same thing with Owen, and I also made him a baby book that took him through 12 months, and I'm doing a toddler book that takes him maybe through 5 or 6 years old, and then there's a school book that I'm doing. So I want to do the same for baby number 2, and it takes a lot of effort to make sure that I'm remembering how far along I am and to document now in this book as well as the toddler book. But I got it done, and back to the labels. They are done printing, so I am going to start weeding, so taking away the extra vinyl around the actual labels themselves, getting some transfer paper on there, packing up my order, and then the ones that I am making right now are going to go into my pantry, because when I redid my pantry, which I did not that long ago, I will link that video if you're interested in watching my updated pantry organization. I didn't finish doing a couple of the labels because I didn't know for sure what I was going to use those bins for. So now that I know, I'm finally adding those labels on and finishing up the project. Sleeping in now. Stuck in my head. Did it break you like it broke me? Had it then we give it all up, we give it up in the end. I wanna know. Today's recipe is going to be a perfect meal prep recipe if you're looking for a recipe that you can eat throughout the week and it's going to last for a long time. This is the Jennifer Aniston salad, or at least it's one version of the Jennifer Aniston salad. There was an option to use either quinoa or bulgur, and I am trying to use up a lot of products that I have in my pantry that I have been neglecting, and this was one ingredient that I wanted to use up, and this salad just sounded really good to me. So I am going to prep this to have throughout the week for side dishes or for lunches. And let me tell you, I ate basically the whole thing myself. I don't even know if Jim even tried it. He's not a huge salad or side dish person, but this was so refreshing. You'll see I am going to chop some mint here. There's a fair amount of mint in there. And it was just a lot of really fresh, light flavors. There's a lemon juice and olive oil type dressing that goes in there. I liked the crunch of the pistachios, and then the feta cheese really makes it like kind of creamy-ish almost, and just so delicious, yet it feels really healthy. If you follow me, you know that I typically make a meal every day or every other day, and it's usually some sort of a coordinating meal, items that go together. I make a main part of the meal and then a side dish that goes along with it, or just one hearty meal that doesn't really require a side dish. I don't often prepare things like this that just kind of sit in the fridge and are there for snacking or for lunches, again, or for randomly pairing with meals. But I kind of like this idea and just having something on hand, so you turn to something healthy, and just if you need a side dish for one dinner and don't want to make a crazy meal, I could grill up some salmon with this and just have that as a meal. It really does simplify meal prep. While I was thinking about it, I am going to do a little restocking of my 2 olive oils. I started using 2. I am keeping the white one out on my countertop just because I use olive oil so often when I'm cooking, and just add a little splash here and there. And then I don't have to refill my bottles as much because I go through it really quickly. I keep this big bottle in the basement. I have a small cupboard in the kitchenette area downstairs that I have some backup bulk products that are really large. You'll see I also have this extras bin that I keep at the top of the pantry. I probably could fit everything in there, so maybe I'll try and move those things, but also realized my avocado oil was running low, so I refilled that with the last bit of avocado oil I had in the extras bin, and then was able to toss that avocado oil bottle. Last restock there, I grabbed some more of Owen's little pouches and apple sauces and put those into the pantry, as well as a couple more canned goods. Now the bulgur has cooled, so I can add it into the Jennifer Aniston salad and complete the whole thing, give it a nice mix. And of course, you'll see I sneak a little taste there because I had to know what it tasted like before I just put it back in the fridge. And as I mentioned, it was delicious. I've also been avoiding cleaning my cast iron pan, which is not a good thing to avoid doing. You really want to clean it off good so it doesn't get stuff stuck on it. I try and avoid using any soap or anything like that when I'm cleaning my cast iron, so I'm just using a Scrub Daddy sponge and some warm water and a little bit of elbow grease there. And once I get it fully cleaned, then I'm going to put it on the stove top there on a low heat to let it fully dry so it doesn't get any rust on it. You can also bake it in the oven. I've heard of that as another technique. And then every now and then I will re-oil it. I want to believe, so keep on coming closer, keep me hanging on, let me feel your body. Continuing on the random refills that I'm doing in today's video, and on this Saturday, I wanted to refill up my Dawn dish soap that I have in the dispenser that comes out of my sink. It wasn't empty by any means, but I just noticed that I had the big bottle of Dawn dish soap sitting there, so I refilled it a little bit. It's kind of difficult to get under there and make sure I'm lining it up with the little straw there, so I did struggle a tiny bit to get it connected without dripping any soap in the cabinet, but eventually I was able to figure it out and get that taken care of as well. Saturdays and the weekends, I wash my cleaning rags a lot. So I brought my big bin of cleaning rags from the kitchen and everything I clean downstairs, as well as the rag bin that I keep in the laundry room there. So I threw those in, and you'll see I'm using some Tide detergent. I just bought the Kirkland detergent. I like to use a lot more natural detergents with not a ton of ingredients in them, usually fragrance free for the rest of our laundry, but for our cleaning rags, I like something that just does a really good deep clean and gets rid of all of the gunk and stuff. So I use the Tide with OxiClean, but I'm going to try the Kirkland one in bulk and just see if we like that one as well. Really fun task to do next. I collected all of the trash from around the house and just cleaned out all of the garbage cans, getting ready for garbage day. I'm usually the one to collect all of the garbage. I'm also usually pretty lazy and never do the basement trash. So when it's trash day, I always tell Jim, don't worry, I took care of everything except for I didn't do this trash can in the basement. So he usually takes care of that, and then he brings it out to the curb. I've also really been enjoying making some different waters and teas in this glass pitcher that I have. And I looked up a tea because I was thinking, what could I use with all of these limes that I have? I didn't really have any other fruits or vegetables to make an infused water. So I looked up iced tea with lime, and I came across this green tea with lime and honey in it. This was such a good combination. And then I can just have a little bit of it in the mornings. Being pregnant, I'm trying not to drink that much caffeine, so just having a little cup of iced tea is fine. And then I always have decaf coffee anyway, so a little bit of caffeine is fine. And this iced tea was so good. I had to stop myself from drinking all of it. Okay, I brought out my packing list here. If you haven't seen my video talking about my September goals and what's going on in the month of September, I am heading out on a Babymoon soon. So I was getting ahead of the game here and starting to pack a little bit. I always like to start with my toiletries. It just seems like the easiest thing. And typically I do have some duplicates or travel sized items, so I can pack my toiletries in advance. And the toiletries that I don't have duplicates of, I just leave unchecked on my travel checklist that I haven't packed them. So let's say I only have one hairbrush and I want to bring a hairbrush with me when I travel. If I haven't packed it, I just obviously won't check that off on the checklist. And this checklist that I'm talking about, I do have on my website. It's a 2-part checklist. One is a packing list, and then the other part is a whole checklist of things that I do in my house before I go out of town. So it's things like remembering to take out the garbage, remembering to change the thermostats. I like to wash my towels and sheets before I leave, so I come home to those and they're clean, a bunch of other things like that. And it gives me such peace of mind for both the packing portion as well as how I'm leaving my house to make sure I've taken care of everything before I head out on vacation. So the camera angle wasn't great here, but I am pulling out all of the minis, going into my checklist and crossing things off as I add them. And I also wanted to get started on a little bit more than just the toiletries. There's some other things that I can typically pull out pretty quickly. In this case, I wasn't going to be swimming before we went on our Babymoon, and we are going somewhere tropical, so I'll need a swimsuit there. I only have one maternity swimsuit, which was a great reminder and a great reason why I'm packing so early. So hopefully I have enough time to potentially order another one and get myself a second swimsuit. I tried on wearing a 2-piece, and that's just not my thing while pregnant, and my other 1-pieces do not fit me while pregnant. So I am going to invest in a second swimsuit and also grab some workout clothing or more
casual clothing just to wear around the resort a little bit, maybe if Jim and I go for a walk, as well as some pajamas. After all of that, my iced tea had finally cooled a little bit because I used hot water to make it, and I'm ready to give it a try. I added some ice to my cup and poured that in there and enjoyed a nice cup of iced tea while I went back upstairs to get more laundry going. In addition to washing my rags, I was going to wash some of our new type of load of laundry, which I recently started implementing, and this is a whole load of laundry that just doesn't need to go through the dryer. I was sick and tired of going through the laundry after every time I washed it to make sure there weren't things in there that couldn't be dried. So now as I wear clothing and it's dirty, I put it in a separate bin if it shouldn't be dried, and then I wash that load separately. And there were a lot of dresses and things like that in there that I wanted to take on the Babymoon, so I wanted to get that washed. And then going to sit back in my office there for one final thing of the day, and that was to sew back on a button on Owen's shirt. This is the cutest little Hawaiian shirt. He wore it not that long ago because they had a spirit week at school, and one of the days was beach day or tropical Tuesday or something like that. And of course, a little button popped off, but I was able to find the button and can easily sew it right back on and just hand stitch it. So I am going to take care of that. I will say these are the type of projects that I think a lot of people neglect in their house or know, I have to sew that button on, and it just sits there for weeks and weeks. Write it out on your to-do list. Do a little bit of a sophisticated Saturday yourself and knock out all of these random things with a little bit of time that you have. I'm telling you, this stuff does not take me that long. I have a little son that I am spending most of the day with, so this stuff typically gets done just during nap time, and I am able to accomplish so much when I set my mind to it and just go through and knock out as many things on that list as I can.
That's it for today's Sophisticated Saturday. I have my to-do list here and was able to pretty much check everything off with the exception of working out. And the reason I'm not going to push myself to get that done right now is because we're actually going to go for a family walk, and it's nice out today, so I think we'll go for a decently long outside walk. And we also have garage painters coming to paint our garage. And so we need to pull everything out of the garage, off of all of the cabinets that we have, and just like free up the floor space because they're also going to be painting the ceiling. So we have to move the mower and all of Owen's toys probably around to our back patio or something like that. So there's going to be a lot of manual labor and moving of things around once Owen goes to bed tonight. So I don't want to overdo it either, doing a workout and going for a walk and doing that. So I think the walk with moving all of those items will probably be enough exercise as it is. So I am going to call it quits for the day other than that. And I want to thank you so much for joining me for another Sophisticated Saturday. This was really fun. Make sure to check out my full playlist of Sophisticated Saturday videos if you find these motivational. But until next time, I will see you all later.